Imagine a typical day at a girls' boarding school in a remote Tanzanian community. Suddenly, without warning, one pupil begins giggling uncontrollably. Her laughter spreads like wildfire, infecting others. What starts as a simple giggle quickly turns into an epidemic of uncontrollable laughter that lasts months and affects thousands. This is the strange and fascinating account of the Tanganyika Laughter Epidemic in 1962. 3 females unexpectedly began laughing in January 1962 at a mission-run girls' boarding school in Kashasha, near Lake Victoria's western coast. Initially, it was seen as a harmless and funny affair. However, as the laughter continued and extended to other pupils, the professors became more concerned. The laughter was unrestrained and contagious. By hours, scores of females had been affected. Efforts to calm the students and halt the laughter were useless. The teachers, bewildered and frightened, sent the laughing girls home, hoping that rest and a change of atmosphere would be beneficial. The laughter epidemic spread outside the school. The impacted girls brought their laughter back to their families and villages. As they engaged with family and neighbors, laughing spread quickly. Soon the entire village was engulfed in waves of laughter. Parents watched helplessly as their children laughed uncontrollably. The phenomenon spread to neighboring villages, disrupting daily life and causing widespread concern. Villagers reported seeing entire groups of people laughing, unable to stop. The laughter was not one of joy but of distress and confusion. As the laughter spread, it became more severe. Some people laughed for hours, others for days. The laughter was often accompanied by crying, fainting, and respiratory problems. Schools and businesses were forced to close as the epidemic continued to spread unchecked. In some cases, people experienced episodes of uncontrollable laughter multiple times a day. The constant laughing led to physical exhaustion, dehydration, and psychological distress. Health clinics were overwhelmed with cases, but doctors were unable to provide effective treatment. The laughter seemed immune to conventional medical interventions. The Tanzanian government, alarmed by the situation, sent medical teams to investigate. Despite their efforts, they could not find a physical cause for the epidemic. Psychological and social stress were suspected to be underlying factors, but the exact cause remained elusive. The government declared a state of emergency in affected areas. Public health officials issued warnings and tried to educate the public about the situation. Despite these efforts, the laughter epidemic continued to spread. The government also sought assistance from international health organizations, hoping for a breakthrough. The epidemic had profound social and cultural impacts. Families were torn apart, unable to cope with the constant laughter. Traditional healers were called in, and religious leaders performed rituals, but nothing seemed to stop the epidemic. The laughter even disrupted local economies as people were unable to work or attend to their daily activities. Social gatherings, religious ceremonies, and community events were marked by episodes of uncontrollable laughter. The epidemic challenged the social fabric of the affected communities, leading to increased tensions and a sense of helplessness. Individual stories of those affected by the laughter epidemic provide a deeper insight into the human experience during this bizarre event. Parents spoke of their fear and frustration as they watched their children suffer. Teachers recounted their helplessness in the face of the epidemic. Victims described the physical and emotional toll of the constant laughter. These personal accounts highlight the wide-ranging impact of the epidemic on everyday life. One girl, Asha, recounted how she felt isolated and embarrassed as her laughter episodes disrupted her education and strained her relationships with friends and family. Scientists and researchers from around the world became interested in the Tanganyika Laughter Epidemic. They conducted numerous studies, considering various theories such as mass hysteria, psychogenic illness, and social contagion. However, no definitive explanation was found. The phenomenon challenged conventional understanding of human psychology and social behavior. Researchers noted similarities to other cases of mass psychogenic illness, where psychological stress manifests as physical symptoms. They explored the role of social and cultural factors in the spread of the epidemic, considering the influence of community dynamics and collective stress. Experts suggested that the laughter epidemic may have been triggered by high levels of stress and anxiety in the community. The early 1960s were a time of significant social and political change in Tanganyika, as the country was transitioning from colonial rule to independence. The uncertainty and tension of this period may have contributed to the outbreak. Additionally, the stress of academic pressure at the boarding school and the isolation of the students from their families could have played a role. The epidemic highlighted the complex interplay between psychological stress and physical health. As the epidemic continued, it spread to other regions. Schools in other parts of Tanganyika reported similar outbreaks of uncontrollable laughter. The epidemic became a national concern, drawing attention from the media and public. Reports of laughter outbreaks emerged from remote villages, urban centers, and even other schools. The spread of the epidemic beyond its initial epicenter in Kashasha underscored the difficulty in containing it. The widespread nature of the epidemic made it clear that it was not confined to a single location or population. The laughter epidemic had a significant impact on the education system in Tanganyika. Schools in affected areas were forced to close, disrupting the education of thousands of students. Teachers and administrators struggled to maintain order and provide a safe learning environment. The epidemic highlighted the need for mental health support in schools and raised questions about the pressures faced by students. Educational authorities implemented measures to address the psychological well-being of students, including counseling services and stress reduction programs. The medical community faced a unique challenge in dealing with the laughter epidemic. Doctors and health workers were trained to deal with physical illnesses, but this psychological phenomenon required a different approach. Medical teams conducted extensive research and collaborated with psychologists and sociologists to understand the epidemic. They experimented with various treatments, including sedatives, antipsychotic medications, and counseling, but none proved consistently effective. The epidemic highlighted the limitations of the medical community in addressing complex psychosocial issues. The Tanzanian government sought assistance from international health organizations, including the World Health Organization, WHO. International experts conducted investigations and offered recommendations, but the epidemic persisted. The involvement of international organizations brought global attention to the Tanganyika Laughter Epidemic and emphasized the need for international collaboration in addressing public health crises. The government also engaged in public awareness campaigns, aiming to educate the population about the nature of the epidemic and reduce stigma associated with the affected individuals. Communities affected by the laughter epidemic developed various coping mechanisms. Traditional healers and religious leaders played a significant role, offering spiritual and ritualistic interventions. Community support networks emerged, providing emotional and practical assistance to affected families. These efforts reflected the resilience of the communities and their ability to adapt to the crisis. Community meetings and support groups were organized to discuss the epidemic, share experiences, and seek solutions collectively. These initiatives fostered a sense of solidarity and mutual support among the affected population. The laughter epidemic was interpreted differently across various cultural contexts. Some viewed it as a sign of spiritual disturbance or a curse, while others saw it as a collective psychological response to stress. Cultural beliefs and practices influenced how people responded to the epidemic and sought solutions. In some communities, the epidemic was seen as a test of faith or a call for communal repentance. These cultural interpretations added layers of complexity to the epidemic and shaped the approaches taken to address it. Scientific studies on the Tanganyika laughter epidemic explored a range of theories, from neurological disorders to mass psychogenic illness. Researchers conducted surveys, interviews, and observational studies to gather data. They examined the role of social networks, cultural factors, and environmental stressors in the spread of the epidemic. Despite extensive research, no single theory fully explained the phenomenon. The epidemic remained a topic of debate and investigation in the scientific community, highlighting the challenges of understanding complex human behaviors. The media played a crucial role in spreading awareness about the laughter epidemic. Local and international news outlets covered the story, bringing it to the attention of a global audience. Media coverage influenced public perception and shaped the narrative around the epidemic. While some reports focused on the bizarre and sensational aspects, others highlighted the human impact and the efforts to find solutions. The media also played a role in disseminating information about public health measures and government interventions. After 6 months, the laughter epidemic began to subside. Schools reopened, and life slowly returned to normal. However, the laughter episodes continued sporadically for almost a year before finally disappearing. The exact reason for the epidemic's decline remained as mysterious as its origin. Researchers suggested that a combination of psychological fatigue, social interventions, and the natural course of the epidemic contributed to its eventual decline. The end of the epidemic brought relief, but also left unanswered questions about its causes and implications. The laughter epidemic had long-term effects on the affected communities. It left psychological scars and affected social dynamics. Some individuals continued to experience anxiety and stress-related symptoms. The epidemic also had economic repercussions, as businesses and schools faced financial losses. Communities engaged in efforts to rebuild and recover, focusing on mental health support and community resilience. The lessons learned from the epidemic informed future public health strategies and highlighted the importance of addressing mental health in crisis situations. The Tanganyika Laughter Epidemic left a lasting legacy. It highlighted the impact of social and psychological stress on communities and the importance of mental health awareness. The epidemic also served as a reminder of the interconnectedness of human emotions and the power of collective experiences. Public health policies were influenced by the lessons learned, leading to improved mental health services and community support programs. The epidemic became a case study in public health and psychology, contributing to the understanding of mass psychogenic illnesses. Today, the Tanganyika Laughter Epidemic is studied as a classic example of mass hysteria and social contagion. It serves as a fascinating case for psychologists, sociologists, and historians, providing valuable insights into the complexities of human behavior and social dynamics. Modern reflections on the epidemic emphasize the need for holistic approaches to public health that consider psychological, social, and cultural factors. The epidemic continues to be a source of intrigue and study, reminding us of the mysterious and powerful nature of human psychology. Hey there, history enthusiasts! If you enjoyed diving into the bizarre and fascinating story of the Tanganyika Laughter Epidemic with us, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who love uncovering forgotten historical events, just like you. And don't forget to subscribe to Silent Centuries by clicking the subscribe button and ringing the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We have many more intriguing stories from history that are waiting to be discovered. Your support means the world to us and keeps us motivated to bring you the best historical content. Thanks for watching, and stay curious about the past.